What's up, Leo? This is Joe, and I have a spirit message for you for the month of May 2020. I'm late to the party, I know, I apologize. We all know how busy life can be. With 3 little boys in this home, under 5, it can get crazy. So with that said, I'm ready to roll and talk about what came out in your meditation for the month of May. And then we are going to pull some tarot cards and talk about things a little bit more at the end. Now, this isn't going to be for every Leo. Let's get that down, and so that way I want to be very clear. This is for those that it resonates with, that it fits with, makes sense with. You'll know it. Maybe some things do and some things don't, but I think that this is a very more specific and shorter message that I got. I never know what's going to come through in my meditation, and you know, it is what it is. So some of the messages for some of the signs can sometimes be really long. This was kind of short, but I think it's still a very important message, and we're going to see where it goes with tarot toward the end of this message. So the first thing that I kind of do is I do the meditation, and then afterwards I make sure I take notes. So if you see me looking down, it's just because I don't want to forget anything. I want to make sure I explain the entire message that I got. All right, so here's where things came out. It was an interesting meditation, and the kind of visual that I got was, Leo, many of you were kind of went through some stuff that it was sort of caused you to go through sort of a master class on manifesting, in a sense, or a course on manifesting, like this self-taught type of feeling, where there was just this need and a situation where it was very difficult to do anything in the physical to get through some circumstances and some situations, or to overcome some things, or to reach some desires, to obtain some kind of change in your life. And so it was very interesting, and I got the feeling like you were almost there with getting this down pat into this whole idea, you know, the secret, you know, manifesting, all those kinds of concepts, and keeping that feeling positive, keeping the vibe high, and all that stuff that goes along with it. But for you, this was very different. This was a very hard, difficult time, and it felt like it was really almost impossible to keep that vibe high and those emotions high. But you seem to have found some kind of glitch in the so-called manifesting matrix or something. And I don't know if it was because it was out of necessity, or why the feeling seemed like you were so successful at it. But there's this kind of strange element that it was like a rite of passage for you. And so in this was this some of this is hidden behind a veil. You don't really quite understand it, but you know how to connect with it. And so it's like piercing the veil a little bit is kind of what you're trying to do. You're really trying to crack that code because you're seeing some amazing results in your life with your manifestation efforts. And I think this is a really cool message. Some of this is bits of wisdom you learned along the way and how to do this, but there's this element of it that is still very much a mystery. And this is a big moment for you in May to really getting a fuller understanding. And I really want to understand what you know, because I find it very just compelling, this whole thing that came to me. And it's just this being able to get this fuller understanding of how this works. And I don't know that you'll ever completely get there in the sense that you'll just have a complete full understanding of it, but I feel like you have an edge on a lot of people. And this was, again, out of necessity, out of circumstances, that you were able to somehow zero in on that energy of manifesting, even when you didn't always feel good, even when you weren't always vibing high and in a good place. So I think you've proven this to yourself over and over, and you're so sure of it that you have a very good connection with this. And so I thought this was a great message. But the other thing that came out of this was I had this, we have an eclipse coming, and this eclipse, I believe, it's a partial solar eclipse, June 20th or 21st maybe, and this is right before Leo season, and to me something stood out about this time. During this time, once we pass the solar eclipse, whether or not you can observe it or see it from your part of the world doesn't matter. It's like this gateway. It's like this this time where everything is really going to click for you. And I think you'll be working on this a lot in May. And in June, after this time, I think you're really going to have a bigger understanding. Things are going to probably start accelerating for you. And I think you'll be hitting your goals and your aspirations on target or before you've targeted to achieve your goals. So this is, again, I know the solar eclipse is a ways out and we're yet only in early May, but I think you are really working yourself into a good position, a good place to do something with this, and I think for some of you, you might even find yourself helping others with this. But it really, to me, just seems like something that very few Leos really understand and got their hands on and got their hands in. And I do understand quite a bit about the subject, and I do practice it to the best of my ability. And I've seen some amazing results from it myself, but I have a feeling some of you, I'm a Leo, and I have a feeling some of you are just really attuned to it. So you're going to be entering this different time, and it's going to put an end to a long-standing stalemate and some difficulties in your life. It's going to put an end. It's going to be, the bridge over troubled waters, and that's going to lead you to just a place of calm and just I think overall peace, because no matter what, you've learned a lesson. No matter what happens, that you have these resources you can really tap into. And again, I think you learn this out of necessity. So this is going to lead you to some significant, I think, material happiness, in a sense that I'm not saying that this is going to lead to unlimited wealth and riches, but I think it's going to get you to a place where you feel comfortable and you won't really worry anymore like you did, because you will have learned that no matter what happens, you know that there is a way through anything, and that starts with you and in this whole idea of manifesting. So that's the message I got out of the meditation. And I know it isn't a very long or significant meditation to bring out anything very detailed or specific, but it is the energy that I got. It is the story that I got kind of playing through my mind. It is the feeling that I got. And so, that's where I left it at that point. I didn't want to try and confuse it or cloud it with trying to pull in anything else. I wanted to stick with the predominant message here in this, and I think that's what it is. And so I think May is pretty crucial or critical for you in this, because I think you're going to see some really cool results out of this type of practice. But I think the bulk of it comes later in the summer, toward the end of the summer. But it's going to be a very, very interesting ride for you, Leo, I think. So we're going to throw a few cards out here. We're going to see what we get. We're going to see if we can expand any of the messages that came through on meditation, or if there's anything else that comes in that wasn't included. So I'm going to pull some cards, and I love it already. That's the first card out, Ace of Pentacles. That's a good start, and we have a card jumping out, the Queen of Pentacles. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Let's see. We're going to do one more from this deck, and then we're going to pull a couple more from another deck, and we're going to talk about them real quick. And yeah, this is absolutely perfect. I can't wait to show you these. But before we do, I'm going to keep you in suspense for a minute, and I'm going to keep shuffling, and I'm going to ask you to, if you want to hear more from me, with my next videos coming out later in the month or even down the road, make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell if you want notifications, leave a comment. I appreciate comments. I answer my emails if people reach out to me there, and also I make sure and reply to as many comments as I can on my channel. So that's where we're going to stop here with shuffling on these. I got one more I want to pull from another deck, and we're going to go over this. And I can already see this is pretty cool. And I think you're going to like this. And I think it's actually very specific to this message that came out in meditation. All right. This is very much about what I talked about. So the first card out, Ace of Pentacles. This is all about the beginning of growth, attainment. It's that new beginning, that first step. It's the planting of a new seed, and it's also the realization that what you're planning and what you're tending to is going to grow into something, and it's going to be something tangible. It's going to be something in the physical. So the way I see this is all about you going through this whole idea, this masterclass, this course, so to speak, out of necessity, out of your life circumstances in manifestation. And so the Ace of Pentacles comes out, and it talks to me about that whole concept. Then we had the Queen of Pentacles. And I love this because to me this is, let's see if we can get a focus on it. This is very much about holding on to that pentacle. You may not have it right now, but you know it's yours, and it's that sitting in confidence, knowing and waiting that what you're asking for, what you're wanting is coming, and that's in confidence. That is without worry or doubt. So this to me is very much specific to that message. But even better, we can really say this is about wish fulfillment, especially when the Nine of Cups comes out. The wish card. This is about getting to the point where you're seeing what you're wishing for, what you're wanting, come into reality, to manifest. And so I think this is really cool because it's all very much specifically about that idea of manifestation. I love how these came out. And then, Leo, we also have very interesting, and I'm going to go with this and say number 3 is your number this month. So pay attention to number 3. But number 3 is on this card, and between worlds. So if you think about it for a minute, without me really saying anything, I think you know what between worlds means. And to me, what it's saying to me is not being fully immersed in one or the other. You could see one is dark and one is bright, and you are coming out of that dark place and taking a step into the light. And this is because of something that you've created. This is that ability of you to connect to this really almost mysterious hidden knowledge of manifestation, of believing and speaking things into your life. So this is a really cool way for these cards to come out. And then to top it off, we have a full spectrum. Now I could get into a lot about this card, but this is a very, very short reading and we don't have time. We could talk for probably 15 minutes on this card, but really this is having a full understanding of the elements that fire, air, earth, water, all the elements of creation at your disposal. This is about having a full knowledge or understanding almost of how to use those things, but also how to use them in a proper way, in a moral way, in a way that is beneficial not just to you but to others. And it's really having that understanding of the whole process of alchemy. And it is also about alignment. And to me, this really talks about getting to that place. And I think this card here is really about after that eclipse I talked about, which would be June 21st, I think. And so then you get into Leo season like right after that, and it is prime time for you. So Leo, this is what I have. I know it's a short message. I know it's not anything, anything spectacular. And this probably doesn't really fit with a whole lot of Leos. But it's going to fit with those that that you'll know right away when this message starts that it was for you, because it's going to catch your attention. I would much rather a message be for a smaller audience, a smaller group of people, than to be so broad that it just really kind of, you can kind of make it work into anything. So with that said, I want you to let me know how you feel about this. Is this where you're coming from? Is this where you're at? Leave me a comment. Let me know. Also, you know, if you got a little bit of insight from this, please do me a favor and leave me a thumbs up on the video for the effort, and subscribe if you want to hear more from me. I really appreciate you watching this. Sorry about my crazy hair. I can't get a haircut because of the current events, obviously, so it's just gonna get kind of crazy, and I'm okay with that. Anyway, have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and you know, I'll talk to you again in probably about another week. Okay, thank you.